Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar square off. RK Bro lose their tag titles, and another favorite tag team splits up. This is the Wrestling Never Sleeps podcast. Happy Tuesday morning, people. Welcome to your Wrestling Never Sleeps podcast, Monday Night Raw review for January 10th, 2022. It's our first episode of the year. I am your boy, Jared Never Sleeps, of course, back with my very handsome co-host, the straight shoot in a suit, Adam Anthony James Martin. Adam, happy New Year to you. We're a little bit late, or right on time for today. How's everything going with you?
It's going, man. I'm up here in Canada. If you didn't remember from before,
Yes.
For all the listeners, it's a bit of a snowstorm today, as it started last night. So I'm used to like minus 10 weather. Right now it's about minus 15, minus 18 today. Nice and crisp early morning. But we are here to heat things up with a little Raw talk today, as we are back in business, baby. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yes, sir. And it's a brand new year, but the same old Monday Night Raw and the same old WWE booking. This show was it was a show. It was Monday Night Raw as usual. But I guess there was a few great talking points coming out of this show. First and foremost, they started off with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. They're facing off in the ring for the first time. They're facing off at Royal Rumble this year in about 3 weeks. And hot crowd out in good old Philadelphia, a great wrestling town, great wrestling city. And what did you really think about the opening segment, the kind of promo battle between, kind of a one-sided promo battle between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar?
The whole thing to me is really interesting, Jared. These two were supposed to fight or match up, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Not only in the ring, but potentially inside the cage, as both have competed in MMA. So I think this is something that everyone's excited for, looking forward to finally. And I think it's the time that they need something like this to happen from here until WrestleMania, because right now, as you said, it's the same old Raw. Nothing's going on. Nothing's making sense that much. But one thing that we do know going into this segment is that both guys can fight, legitimately fight. So whether you take it inside the cage or back into the ring now, heading into the Royal Rumble in 3 weeks, for me, I was looking forward to this segment itself, just because I like to see how they build it up. And like you said, it was a one-sided beatdown verbally. Paul Heyman didn't really get to talk either. So that was disappointing. And again, Brock Lesnar on the microphone to me is highly entertaining, though.
Yeah, he is.
His comedy act, that's just him being an asshole, a smart ass, more or less. I'm pretty sure he doesn't get handed a script. If he did, I'd laugh.
I don't think he'd read it.
But he's got his notes on his hand. Yeah. But no, he's actually a little bit better on the mic than we all thought, I think. And to me, he's highly entertaining, especially with his episodes or his promos with Sammy. I think a lot more of that came out and has now prepared him for the future moving forward, where he's at a level that he's comfortable with just talking and just being himself out there. Brock Lesnar is also now part Canadian, living in Saskatchewan, a much colder province than Ontario. But it's not the reason why I'm going to favor him in this match or this feud going into Royal Rumble. We have two key aspects, one being champion versus champion potentially, and the other being, of course, the other champion, Roman Reigns. So to me, even though the segment was exciting going into this, seeing how they play it out, I still in the back of my mind have this great feeling that we're not going to see, Lashley face or defend his title at WrestleMania, I should say. So it's, again, a no-brainer for me, but I kind of like what they're doing here. It's maybe a little too late. What do you think about that? Because these guys should have fought,
I think
months
that
ago or years ago.
It probably been years ago when Lashley had like that really hot streak when he was main eventing WrestleMania. But yeah, I think I think it'll still be an interesting feud. However, the way Brock Lesnar has been booked since his original return, I think back in 2011 was that 2012 ish when he came back. He's just been booked on another level from everybody else, and it kind of makes me not believe that Lashley can dethrone Brock Lesnar, especially since he's got the title. Like, yes, it's a marquee matchup, but since Brock Lesnar literally just got the title, like 11 days ago, 10 days ago, I just don't see them. I don't see them moving the title away from him. So it kind of projects the ending of that match at the Royal Rumble. But I get they needed something. They need some type of drawing power for a Big Four pay-per-view. But again, I just don't see them taking the title off. And then going back to the segment even starts off with like they have the Hurt Business backstage with Lashley, and the Hurt Business is kind of like they're trying to like say like, hey, I'm glad we're back together. And Lashley's like, no, I work alone now. We're done. Da 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 da. But even like it kind of would have even been better if Lashley was with the Hurt Business because, Brock Lesnar is the baby face and then Lashley's the heel. So it can actually kind of even at least make it a little bit more believable if like maybe since Brock has been booked so strong, if he has to go against kind of like, the heel faction. So maybe there's some type of, smiles or there's some type of, hijinks that causes him to lose the title. But straight up, I just can't see them moving the belt away from Brock Lesnar.
No, the fact that they took it off Big E so quick, and the guy they gave it to and had Big E pinned at day one by Brock Lesnar, just tells me that hey, we're unsure of this guy. Maybe they're unsure of anybody else except for Brock Lesnar to be able to hold that title and carry the title value and uphold it, I should say. And just because he's such a dominant force anywhere he goes, and he's such an amazing athlete at any age that he's at, because we've seen him when he was 23 years old, and now look at him. He's older, he's more mature, he's developed a lot more. And who would have thought that? Because even back when he debuted, he wasn't the mouthpiece that he is now, but he's still such an amazing talent. And yes, he's altered his style a little bit, but I think a lot of that has to do with, his experience in MMA and the way he looks, the way he dresses, the way he, moves around in the ring. He's not as explosive, but he still is, if you know what I mean.
Well, so, I think that he gets more. He doesn't get the credit for the psychology and understanding of the business because he really is great at it. He really understands how to get things over. He really understands how to bump around for people and also protect himself as a commodity, as an attraction.
Yeah, he's matured a lot, I think, and the understanding of the business is huge for him, especially since he only kind of really has Paul on screen with him now. He's taken it to a whole new level, which is a scary thought because the guy's only getting older and he's getting better. Not too many people have the privilege or the ability to say that, especially in this business.
Well, again, it comes down to the overall booking of WWE. They book, like I said, they book Brock at such a high level that he's going to maintain that integrity of his character. They haven't really used Brock to elevate other people, which is disappointing. They haven't put people in a position to beat him and actually get to that upper main event card. So I think only a handful of people have beat him. I think Reigns has beat him. Seth Rollins. Who else has beat Brock in recent memory? I think Goldberg. Did Goldberg beat him at some point?
Yes.
And then I think Drew McIntyre beat him as well at that the empty WrestleMania. At the empty WrestleMania. But they beat him, but they don't utilize to like move them higher, which is a problem. And matter of fact, speaking of Big E, you did mention Big E before. Now he had a impromptu match with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins came out, cut a promo. Then Big E comes out and he was like, "Hey, I challenge you right now to a match." Da da da. He gets beat clean with the curb stomp. So I guess that's the end of Big E as a credible WWE champion because they beat him just twice in a matter of less than 2 weeks. They beat him twice clean. So I guess this is just showing us that WWE has no type of plan or no type of confidence in Big E, which is disappointing to me. What do you think?
It's a shame because Big E to me has a lot of potential as well as being a frontier top guy.
Yeah.
And now they just basically washed anything that they built up for him before that championship run, if you can call it that. They basically just took the rug right underneath his feet and sent him back down to the mid card as quickly as possible.
So I really want to know like their psychology behind this stuff because every company, like, all right, the Apple is not going to keep on selling the iPhone 3. They have to sell the iPhone 13 and 14 and 15. You have to build new products. You have to have the Apple car. You have to have the Apple tags. Always new stuff. WWE keeps on running with the same exact people forever. Like they run it out of the ground. Like, all right, Brock Lesnar's still the guy, and Roman Reigns is still the guy. And if they can bring back John Cena or The Rock, I know they would, in a heartbeat. So it's like, how do you continue to evolve the product or make the product better without even like elevating new people to the main event?
Yeah, it's like the reverse of everybody else. Like you said, they're just reusing talent. If you think of a sports team or a coach or a management, they're always looking in for the fresher, new, younger talent to develop and bring in through their developmental system. Unfortunately for wrestling or WWE, at least, their development's gone pretty much.
Yeah,
they're starting from scratch. And they're having to go back to the well so many times, but I don't think they have a problem with it because they believe in these guys so many times. Like when they did bring back Goldberg, when they keep Brock Lesnar relevant, and it's almost like back in the Hogan days, say mid to late '93, when Brett was the champion. They took the title away from him and then instantly gave it right to Hogan at WrestleMania. The one where he squared off with Yoko. Salt in the eyes.
Yeah.
Caesar's Palace, I believe.
Yeah, I think that was 11. I believe it might have been 11 or 9 or 11. It was it 9 or 11. I think it was 9. It might have been WrestleMania 9.
9.
I don't know. We'll look it up. We need some interns in here.
It was Caesar's Palace, though. Anyway,
yeah, I remember.
The reference there, though, is very similar to that situation with Hogan because it's exactly what they're doing. Not in as in '93 and '94 as they are doing now with Brock Lesnar. Unfortunately, he falls victim to that aspect of it all, but at the same time, it's still well deserved for him. So I don't think he has too much to worry about. But
yeah, I'm not saying don't keep these guys
with
relevant.
Big E and Seth Rollins, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't keep these guys relevant because obviously they're a draw, they're money makers. I'm just saying that you can definitely use these guys to get other stars over. You're gonna need stars in the future, and you keep on killing them at the expense of Cena's and Rocks and Goldbergs and people who are not gonna be around in 10 years. So it was WrestleMania 9, by the way. I looked it up.
Yes,
WrestleMania 9 outdoor.
There we go.
Caesar's Palace.
But with Big E and Seth Rollins, I thought this could have been a nice opportunity to get Big E back in the picture, potentially to challenge one more time for that title. Yeah. They could have made it winner takes the title spot at Royal Rumble, but they really didn't even announce that. They just made it a match. They announced that Big E was in the Rumble, so maybe there's plans for him to win. But the way that he looked against Seth Rollins and the way that he was beat, that does not show me that they have faith in him winning the Royal Rumble and giving him another run. He's
done. They know what they're doing. They understand that if you see a guy get pinned twice in less than 2 weeks, it's not a bigger story. See, I think us WWE fans, we always expect them like, oh, they're gonna get it right this time, but they're gonna get better at this. And it's just like we've been saying this for a good 20 years.
It's like the McDonald's drive-through. No matter how many times you go through it, you're either missing something or something's not made the right way that you ordered it.
Exactly. And that's WWE for you. Moving on, we had a huge tag team we have new champions. The Alpha Academy has defeated RK Bro for the Raw Tag Team Champions. And I felt that this was very anticlimactic. I don't think anyone was expecting this. Just a random title exchange on a Raw in Philly. Where do you think RK Bro goes from here, and what do you do with Alpha Academy from here? Because it's like, I mean, WWE traditionally has not really been, about tag team wrestling. So it's like, where's the story going from here? Like, is this a blow to the tag team titles?
I think with the loss, this could slow burn something else. We noticed Randy Orton before the match reminding Riddle that, hey, all he had to do was tag. Then he wants Riddle to listen to him a little bit more, take control, because he's the veteran going into the match. They still get beat, which to me was a surprise, because why would RK Bro lose the titles to the Alpha Academy on Raw, rather than a pay-per-view, even to the same guys, but
at least build it up too. Build it up. Like this is just random. Like I was
totally random.
I was like kind of like multitasking. I look up and I'm like, oh snap, Randy Orton just got pinned by Otis, and I'm just like, huh?
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It definitely devalues the tag team titles, but they did win clean, so it keeps the Alpha Academy growing up in the upwards direction. It's not like they got a cheap win, a cowardly win. There was no interference, like you said.
Yeah.
To me, though, maybe they're potentially looking at Randy Orton as Riddle as single guys again, but to add a little bit more depth in their now depleted roster that they have since all the releases. Waiting for new talent to develop down in NXT, come up and take the spot. But right now, I think maybe they're leading towards Riddle versus Orton at WrestleMania. What do you think about that?
Riddle versus Orton is not a match I particularly want to see, to be honest. Again, I mean, I know RK Bro is like extremely over. That just really wasn't for me, my shtick. I think it's people. I know people like the whole like odd couple type of dynamic they had. But again, if they were gonna put Randy Orton in a feud with Riddle, I just kind of don't see where they go from there. They're gonna have Riddle beat Randy Orton, and how does that really help Riddle? I understand it might sound a little contradictory that I said before that you want to use these kind of legend type people to elevate other stars, but I don't think I think that Riddle can only be so elevated. I don't see him as a world heavyweight champion type of guy. I don't see him as a guy that can main event a WrestleMania. And I think he's kind of still stuck in that mode of like comedy act. I don't know how far you can go with a stoner character, to be honest. So, so it's like, I guess all roads point to like a Riddle versus Randy Orton feud at WrestleMania, but I think there's probably better stuff you can do with Randy Orton, to be honest. The career he's had, the acumen he has in the ring, and how great he is, how good he is as a performer. But WWE often does not make any sense at all. And then with Alpha Academy, they're great. I think they're a good looking team. I think they have a lot to bring to the table, but I would just like to have seen them, built up a little bit. Maybe have a couple weeks of squash matches or whatever, just to kind of build up this match and exchange the titles the right way. But just to kind of have it random like that, it just kind of shows us that WWE doesn't really care about their tag division.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing, though, right? Like, we might not see Riddle we see them as this goofy stoner guy, right? But the last stoner guy I remember is RVD, and RVD won the WWE Championship. Mind you, it wasn't an ECW pay-per-view, so it's not really what we see. Unfortunately, we're looking at the McDonald's of wrestling here.
Yeah, but I mean, RVD's character was like a kind of like stoner type guy. He was just cool. He did the frog splash. Yeah. And he had the, he wasn't like, his gimmick wasn't he smoked weed. He just happened to smoke weed, Yeah,
he just smoked it and was high on the show.
Yeah, but
so it just naturally came out.
But like Riddle, his character is stupid. His character is stupid. So it's like, You're gonna beat Randy Orton with this guy, like.
I could see him doing it. That's the thing. I could see WWE running with Riddle down the future. Maybe at next year's WrestleMania, he's in a prime spot. I mean, facing off against Randy Orton at WrestleMania for anyone should be a huge accomplishment on its own, almost like facing Taker at this point.
Yeah, it's Randy Orton.
Taker not being around, who's the next big guy? It's Randy Orton. He's been around the longest.
Yeah.
In tenure, basically, with everyone there still. He's the most professional. He's the most over in terms of, being a heel or a face, in my opinion. He could be either or again and still be loved, still push the merch, still put on good matches with either side. In my opinion, he could elevate Riddle by putting Riddle over, getting him a nice clean win at a big spectacular event like WrestleMania. Do I agree with you that they could do Riddle better or Orton better? Hell's yeah. It's just a matter of finding the right spot where, though, now with the talent they do have left over, I should say. There's so many other names, or there's at least a few other names that I can think of that he could potentially be, focused on. But again, potentially maybe they are trying to push Riddle up to that next level where we still see him as a stoner mid-card or upper mid-card guy or a tag team wrestler. This is how they define, him as a singles guy and give him that eventual run.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening because in the land of WWE, nothing makes sense.
You just never know.
Moving along, speaking of tag teams, the Dirty Dogs and Apollo Crews defeated the Street Profits and Damian Priest. The Street Profits, I think, would have been, put the titles back on the Street Profits. Why not have that? I would like to see that feud, Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. I think would be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty different. But this was just a weird match considering the Dolph Ziggler got a pin and he never wins. He beat somebody, Angelo Dawkins, he pinned for just a random, match to get some guys some time on Raw. What do you think about this?
Did you find it weird that this tag match came after the title match?
I just found it weird that this match happened just in general because it's like, what is the point of this match?
It's weird in general.
Why do we care about this match? Why would we ever care about this match? I love Dolph Ziggler. I love the Street Profits. I like what Apollo Crews was doing late last year, but they make everyone so like you don't care about any type of character. There's no reason to invest in anything or anybody because it's just random stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the same as it used to be. And I'm going to refer back to the olden days because that's what I appreciate the most. And if talent was coming up, it's like you said, they build a relationship with the audience before they started getting over. Now it's like WWE just crams these people down their throat on your screen nonstop, thinking that, hey, if we just keep on doing it, eventually they're going to get it over. But they're not changing the format of how they're trying to get them over. They're not utilizing the same one that worked so many years ago that they are today. Everything's at a much faster pace. We see storylines, feuds, talent being brought up so quickly from NXT to the main roster. And then next thing you know, they're gone because, they didn't get over. It's like, well, that's what happens again when you don't build a relationship with the audience because the audience is the ones that may help these guys get over.
It's a losing battle. Management. It's a losing battle. Like, all right, from a strictly booking standpoint, let's look at this match here, right? You got Dirty Dogs and Apollo Crews, and you got the Street Profits and Damian Priest. Damian Priest is the United States champion. Okay, he's on a losing team. What the heck does this do for Damian Priest? I think his stock has went like this since he got put on the main roster. I think he was a little bit better even in NXT. Okay, so you have Damian Priest on the losing team. The Street Profits, they take a loss. What does that do for them at all? And then Dolph Ziggler, who WWE they've showed you for the past 15 years that they have no interest or investment in Dolph Ziggler. I love him. I think he's a great performer and a great wrestler. He's a great look and everything. But did he really need a win in 2022? I don't know. And then Apollo Crews is there. So what is this match, the way it's constructed, what does it do for anybody or anything?
Absolutely nothing. if Apollo pinned Priest, or if Priest got a win over Apollo, maybe that sets up a U.S. title match.
Okay, yeah. At least have that. At least structure the match where you can maybe have a Damian Priest Apollo Crews match. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's storyline progression. But this is like, why?
It didn't make any sense. It fell in the wrong spot of the card. The match itself didn't make any sense. I'm not a big fan of 6-man tags unless there's something leading up to it.
Yeah.
Or at least you get a good final result from it, to branch off into something else.
Yeah.
This gave us neither of those. Did nothing for the talent in the ring. And again, like you said, Dolph Ziggler loved the guy. Great singles competitor, great tag team artist now. In 2022, did he need the pin?
No, not necessary.
He's done it all. I mean, if you're going to give him a pin, put him as a singles guy and give him another run before he retires, because Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, is phenomenal talent, knows how to bump, knows how to sell. He's an amazing heel in terms of gaining heat. But this match did nothing for anyone, especially him.
He is definitely on my. He is in the top 5 of my WWE drop the ball list. I think that guy could have been a multi-time world champion, but unfortunately, they didn't see it that way. But
no.
Moving on, we have a segment. We have the cutting edge with Edge, and he's got his wife Beth Phoenix on. She comes out. Then the Miz and Maurice come out. And it's they have the Miz and Maurice versus Edge versus and Beth Phoenix, a couples mixed tag match for Royal Rumble. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, cool. They have a mixed couples match thing. I'm just not happy to see Miz versus Edge or any of this stuff. Especially, okay, you have Beth Phoenix, right? She's a legend within her own right, WWE Hall of Famer. You have Edge. I don't have to speak about his career. It's Edge. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing it now? Why would anyone care? What is going on
Straight
here?
up answer to all those questions is a simple nope. The WWE management watched the day one match between Edge and Miz. There was no chemistry. It flopped. It was dry. It left a terrible taste in my mouth on both athletes. I used to love Edge.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing him on the TV. I'm tired of seeing him at the pay-per-view. Congrats to him for coming back and doing what he wants to do and continues to love to do. But at the same time, with his position in the company, you got to think that he had something to do with him being put in a program with Miz. Like he's another guy that you just don't tell and hand a script to. You maybe poke his brain a little bit and go, hey, what would you like to do next?
Yeah.
And I'm sure somewhere down the line, Edge has mentioned maybe like working with the Miz. We've done that. We've been there. We've tried it. Now they're going to add 2 different new dynamics to it, being the significant others of both other competitors. And they think it's going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, and last year I really was Edge winning the Royal Rumble the right call, and I went into depth how great of a story this could possibly be. A guy who's been injured, a guy who's been a legend, a guy who has to really literally crawl back to get his spot. And I would love to have them tell that story. Tell a story of a guy who had to retire, who's at the top of his game and had to retire, and now he's trying to crawl back to that spot that he once was. I like that storytelling, but the kind of random matchups he's been having with no overall storyline to it, to me, just doesn't make sense. And even I think all right, if you're gonna do this, I think a better story would even be like Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. Because they did have some heat on Twitter. What was maybe 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, they were going back and forth. The Miz stuff, I could really do it out. And don't get me wrong, Miz is a great performer, and so is Maurice. I just don't think it's the right spot for them to be in because, again, we don't care. Why would we care about this feud? What are they even feuding for?
It's just something else that WWE lacks.
Yeah.
You know, just another point proven that they don't know what people, their viewership wants to see. I'm sure they read about or heard about the mixed reviews between Edge and The Miz. I'm sure The Miz and Edge felt that day one match was not the best of their abilities. Someone in the back behind Gorilla had to have noticed that as well, that there was no really set chemistry between the two. Edge can get in there with anyone, you know, and have a great match. But for some reason, and not to knock The Miz, don't get me wrong, I think he's a great heel.
Miz is great, yeah.
I think he's the go-to guy for the company. So he's the company man. He's a family man. So he's just looking out after the best interest for himself and his family as well, by still performing and being signed to the contract.
Yeah.
But they could have done this better with somebody else, I find, specifically for Edge. And because The Miz has great matches, The Miz can storytell. The Miz can, you know, he can bump around for, you know, any top face that he wants to. He's proven it. He's former WWE champion. And I think he did the great thing, you know, when there's still no audience, I believe, or very little audience, where he took the title and then got squashed by Lashley. So he's definitely a company man, but they had to have been blinded during the day one match to notice that there wasn't chemistry. And now they're going to add two different dynamics, like I said before, being Beth Phoenix and Maurice.
I don't think they care.
You know, two respectable talents of their own right.
Yeah.
But in the ring right now in 2022, is this exactly what we want to see? Not me personally. No,
yeah.
I don't want to see this.
I don't want to see it either. You know, I would like to see, I think it would be a good match. I think they would have good chemistry together. I would like to see like Edge versus like an Austin Theory. I think that would be something, because Austin Theory is, well, not only can he go in the ring, but his character is kind of like punk kid, like he's like annoying. Like I feel like they can position him where it's like he gets under Edge's skin. You know, that type of matchup. You know, Edge is the face, and then Austin Theory is the heel. And I mean, even like if you want to, because I guess they're kind of pushing Austin Theory. Even if you want to give Austin Theory a win over Edge, some roll up pin or something like that, I think that's something that would be interesting if you're going to use a legend.
I think so too.
You know,
give
him a roll up pin over Edge.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said, give him a roll up pin over Edge, and Edge just kind of sits there and just like, dang, I just lost. So then the story is still like, can this guy hang? And then you tell that story. That's the Edge story.
It could almost be like an obsession for Edge.
Yeah. Can this guy still hang?
You know what I mean?
You tell that story, and then that leads to him finally winning the title again at some point. Maybe he beats Brock.
Instead, though, they got Austin Theory finding eggs and stealing them from Vince McMahon, and then earning a shot at something, and then not getting the shot, and then
it's just madness.
I think Austin Theory is going to be a top talent, so I'm glad you brought him up to maybe potentially, be a good match with Edge, because I think that would be interesting as hell. You have, like you said, the younger talent, the up and coming guy, the prospect, versus the Hall of Famer, and
nobody gets hurt in the process of that. Like, if he, like, let's say he lost to Austin Theory, okay, then you kind of tell the story. Can he still hang? That leads to eventually him winning a title. Austin Theory has a win over a legend, so you can elevate him to somewhere wherever you want to go. So it all makes sense, but WWE is not the land of making sense. But speaking of Austin Theory, he had a match against AJ Styles, and AJ Styles wanted a disqualification because Grayson Waller from NXT just popped up, and I guess he's feuding with Styles over down at NXT 2.0. So
yes.
One thing that I kind of noticed when I was watching Raw, I don't watch Raw every week because it's awful. But one thing I noticed is that they're really, really pushing NXT more than I imagine, more than I realized before. Like I see constant commercials of NXT, and now you see NXT talent actually going on Raw and interacting with the main card guys. So I'm thinking, like, man, they're really trying to stick it to Triple H, huh? Like they're putting the machine behind NXT to make people watch it, and they have you have AJ Styles on NXT. Like, really think about that. One of the top guys, and it's like, I think it's a good idea to have like main event guys go back and forth to NXT, because at least you want to kind of peek in and see how these people interact, or, you know, peek in and watch it. But at the same time, it's like, wow, Triple H was really put in a position to not succeed in that Wednesday Night War against AEW.
Yeah, they kind of screwed him over big time. Everyone jokes around about NXT, the original NXT being, you know, ROH 2 or 2.0. But NXT was a true foundation. It was an off-brand from regular WWE programming. And I think for ourselves, after having to watch Raw or watching Raw again, we forget how much we appreciated that NXT that Triple H built.
Yeah.
If you didn't forget, kudos to you, because it was something that was fantastic. It was something that WWE was never doing before. And, you know, they gave Triple H the ball and he definitely ran with it, slam dunked it. And, you know, it was a landslide in points. If you look at it a game compared to NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, because NXT was the top show of the week. You know, and then this little thing called AEW came around and they were going head to head with NXT, and, you know, Triple H automatically just gets shit on by his own team. WWE management, you know, pulled the rug from under him. People were stepping in that shouldn't have had any right to step in and change his direction and what he was doing, because he had no previous losses. You know, it's all right to lose once. Everybody loses once. You know, in wrestling, once could be a full year, you know, in terms of length of time.
Vince got his ass kicked for 1 year.
Really give him a
year.
chance.
83 weeks. Vince lost 83 weeks. So what do you expect Triple H to do in 83 weeks? It takes time. It's hard to beat the new thing, the new hot thing. And then you have your developmental versus like Chris Jericho. People who know, like, people know Chris Jericho. People know these names. So like, it was a battle he couldn't win.
Yeah, he was just put in a terrible position. Like you said, he was put in a position not to succeed, and he didn't have the proper backing that I thought that he should have had and would have gotten. You know, but we know WWE right now is really impatient in terms of, you know, upbringing their talent, developing their talent, letting the talent build relationships with, you know, their fans. So they're definitely impatient with ratings, TV wars. You know, not being made look bad. And I think personally, Vince, Nick Khan now, you know, had probably a lot of influence with this as well. But, you know, reminding Vince, hey, he's making us look bad. He's not making good decisions. We need someone like us in there to take over, not having the confidence or the belief, or, you know, for personal gain on Nick Khan's behalf. They got Triple H out of there really quickly, and they got all his people out. You know, William Regal being one of the key guys just recently gone. You know, Armstrong brothers gone.
Yeah, everybody.
You know, guys that have had tenure with the company, and for some reason now they're automatically just getting a quick shoo away. No really good fair goodbye. Just cut and released. That's WWE style. You know, it's catch and release. They catch new talent. They release new talent. They have something golden in their hands, and not it being an egg, they seem not to want to keep it. But, you know, that's just the way they're going in right now. And I don't know exactly what their end goal is with all of this, because finally it's going to catch up to them, and people aren't going to want to go there to begin with.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to rely on guys like Goldberg, Lesnar.
Well, that's why they're
stick around for another 20 years.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're doing that NIL program where they're taking college athletes and they're saying like, hey, do you want to be a wrestler? Because there's not going to be indie people that want to go there. There's not going to be people who are actually wrestlers who want to take a look at WWE, especially when there's other options out there. And I know the IWC Internet Wrestling community, they have like it's, you know, big tribalism. It's like either your WWE or your AEW, or, you know, but I really feel like people better hope that AEW succeeds, because I don't really have confidence that once Nick Khan takes over WWE, or once the WWE gets sold to a bigger network like Fox, or whether NBC buys or Amazon, that's going to be a huge shift and change in professional wrestling, because now you have people who don't know anything about professional wrestling running the largest professional wrestling company. So if you think it's bad now, just think about when Vince is not there. I don't think it gets better. So we all better hope and pray that AEW and other promotions succeed, because if they don't, it's game over for professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. When that transition of ownership does happen, when the reins finally leave the hands of Vince and Kennedy McMahon, it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes. If we, like you said, if we think things are weird now, wait till that happens, because things are going to get weird in one aspect and probably better in another.
Because they don't care.
Time, I don't believe in that either.
They don't care. They don't know the history. They're just looking at dollars and cents, and that's very, very scary. It's
we're going to see the bring back of the reincarnation of the ding dongs.
Yeah, right. And all these crossovers, you might see like Mickey Mouse versus Brock Lesnar or something, stupid.
Be a Disney.
Yeah,
going back to 95 WCW days.
Yeah, RoboCop and Chucky and all this stuff. So speaking of awful things. Speaking of awful things, Alexa Bliss is back and she still has a Fiend gimmick. I'm so disappointed because I really like the original Alexa Bliss. What was her character? The Goddess. There was nothing wrong with that character. It wasn't stale. It was realistic. It made sense. You can believe that this girl was like just a brat, mean girl type of chick. Great heel. And instead, they went with the Fiend gimmick, and she still has superpowers and stuff. And to our original point, the only reason why they want to do this, I feel like the only reason why they do this stuff is to show like Alexa Bliss's character range, so she can be in WWE crap movies that go straight to DVD. Because this character, first of all, you can't do it better than Bray Wyatt. No disrespect to Alexa Bliss, she's a great performer. She's improved in the ring so much since she first started, but you're not going to be able to do it the way Bray Wyatt did it. And I don't think anyone even wants her to be that character. I don't like that character at all. No,
this is Bray Wyatt's brainchild right here, and they've taken that brainchild and they transformed it over to Alexa Bliss. They let her spend time with Bray, work with him, but she cannot be this character. Like you said, going back to her original days when she was the Goddess, she was a real bitch.
Yeah, and it worked.
People could relate to that.
Especially in the time of social media. I know, okay, I'm old school. I know like kayfabe is dead, but I don't want to see her as this Fiend character on the show. And then I go on her Instagram and she's like at a baseball game with Ryan Cabrera. Like it just, I don't like that. But if she's like the Goddess, that makes sense. It's congruent. She's just a regular person. She's a regular life outside of this. But for her to be spooky on TV and then on Instagram, she's not. It just doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for me, brother.
No.
Doesn't work for me.
No. And you said kayfabe's not alive. It's still alive to me, damn it.
It's still real to me, damn it.
It's definitely still real to me. And I think it's important for psychology, for new fans to understand really what wrestling is compared to what we're seeing on TV nowadays. Without kayfabe,
it's cool. It's a different type of art when you're always the character. Like, that's why I respect MJF. He's always his character. Like I love that. That's part of being an artist.
Exactly. He can keep that 100% himself all the time because that's truly who he is. He's not fictitious. He's not made up. He's not a cartoon character. He's not trying to get into movies. He's just there to be a professional wrestler and play the character that he is naturally good at, because naturally that is him. We don't get to see that with Alexa Bliss. They've dropped the ball. I'm disappointed that she still has superpowers, that they're still going with this whole Fiend character. I think it's ridiculous, preposterous, outrageous, outlandish,
asinine,
it's disgusting.
Yeah.
There's no positive from this. It doesn't do anything for her. It doesn't do anything for the women's division.
Who do you put her against? You can't put her against. It's just stupid. You can't. It's not like the Undertaker back in the day. Like it doesn't work.
Not even close to the Undertaker.
Not even.
Or what they used to be, or what they used to mean back in the day. They've messed it up so much with her now. I expect her to be released in a week.
Yeah, right. Well, she'll do great in Hollywood anyway. She'll be on a TV show tomorrow easily. So
Yeah,
moving
exactly.
on, we have the main event. It's a number one contenders match for the Raw Women's Champion. We have big time Becky Lynch at ringside, and the match is Liv Morgan, who's lost to the champ twice in the past probably 3-4 weeks.
The new Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, we have Bianca Belair, who's also lost to Becky Lynch in 26 seconds at SummerSlam. And then we have Doudrop in this match, who is getting a chance for I don't know what reasons. But anyway, you got these three girls in a triple threat match. The winner goes on to the Royal Rumble to face Becky Lynch. Decent showing by all three of these competitors. I think they're all pretty good in the ring. Bianca Belair's body of work speaks for itself. Liv Morgan has vastly improved since she's been put on the main roster a few years ago. And Doudrop, Piper Nivens has, she's a star. She's a stud. She can wrestle. So the match ends up Bianca Belair is about to get the win. Becky Lynch grabs her off the ring, starts beating her up, and it allows Doudrop to steal the win. Doudrop is on her way to the Royal Rumble to face Becky Lynch, where we know she is not going to win. So if I could speak first, the only issue I do have with this stuff is, for one, Liv Morgan, I love her wrestling. I love her look and everything, but she has no type of credibility because she keeps on losing to Becky Lynch. And then they did the botch where she was supposed to put her ring on her foot on the rope at day one, and that didn't happen. So she beat her clean. You saw that, right? At day one? Yes. Yeah. So you have that major botch, which makes her look stupid. And then Bianca Belair, man, they really botched Bianca Belair. And they're still protecting her a little bit. Not a little bit. They're still protecting her a lot. But she was on her way to me, mega stardom. And these type of different stupid feuds she's in, or this type of speed bumps in the road, I just don't think are helping her character. But what do you think about this entire situation, this entanglement that's going on between these characters interacting?
Bianca Belair is definitely the star of this match, in my opinion. Yeah. She shouldn't have been treated the way that she was. It was terrible to see her lose in 20 seconds. It was ridiculous. Again, something else that they dropped the ball on massively. I know you're a huge supporter of her. I'm a huge fan of her because not only does her in-ring talent just surpass a lot of the women in WWE right now, she's real as well. As they'll let her be, because she's dancing around, swinging her hair and stuff like that. But she was a bitch as well, even though she was a face. She just came off as that snot nose, I'm better than you attitude.
Yeah, like a high school, she's hot. Yeah,
she's really competitive. She puts it on for real. She's just so super talented. It's ridiculous.
Strong as hell, athletic as hell.
Hells yeah. And to have her, to do her dirty like they did, was just mind-boggling, because here you go. You have your future women's star being treated like that, mistreated, I should say, and just used and abused. And here's another situation where she had a great opportunity to redeem that, and they took it away from her and gave it to somebody else. Now, mind you, I don't know much about Doudrop, Boo-Wop Bop, whatever her name is. But at the same time, she looks like she has potential. Mm-hmm. It's a different match that we have not seen before. Coming up to the Rumble, it's giving another star, I guess you can call her that, or another talent, an opportunity to, showcase what they got against one of the top levels in Becky Lynch. And, it was really interesting to see them go this route, because again, I thought for sure Bianca Belair was going to win and try to get that rematch, but maybe that's what they're building up towards, WrestleMania.
I knew it was going to be Doudrop.
Is that rematch?
I knew it was going to be Doudrop because, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair is a money match for a big tour pay-per-view. but I feel like that's going to be a WrestleMania type thing between those two. And yeah, I agree with your point with Dewdrop. Dewdrop would be a great monster heel, especially you don't have Nia Jax anymore. She can move.
I feel like the Scat Man when you say that.
What's that?
I feel like the Scat Man every time I say it.
Yeah, Piper Niven. Piper Niven is definitely a better name than Dewdrop. Like I don't know, but yes. But yeah, even like I just don't see the reason why they would even turn Becky Lynch heel. I think that was just so stupid. Because when she left, she was over. When she came back, she was over. I just still don't think people want to boo her, and you know, just why? Just why is she the heel? But and especially like you didn't really do anything with it. She just kind of beating people all the time. It just I don't know.
Did I not taking away from the match itself?
The match was fine. The match was fine.
Did Becky Lynch? Did I read that she was going to be in the Rumble, or was that Charlotte?
I feel like Charlotte said she's in the Rumble.
Charlotte's entered the Rumble. That's right.
Yeah. Charlotte has entered. Brock did that a couple years ago. And that set up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Charlotte.
Doesn't make any sense, but a lot of stuff in WWE right now does not make a lot of sense.
It never makes sense.
On this roller coaster that we can't control. And we're just going along for the ride. As long as we're watching, we're still on the ride. That's all WWE cares about. We've talked about it personally. You know, we use the formula. We use the reference to McDonald's a lot on here.
Yes,
and that's exactly what they're doing. They're just helping us go for a ride. But at least they're doing something different with this women's title match. As much as I'd like to say Bianca win, maybe they are saving that for WrestleMania. Maybe they will get this one right. Fingers crossed. High hopes. Both ways when it hits the ground. So I don't really believe that they're going to do the right thing in the end anyway, but at least they're hinting at it or teasing us with something different, which is really cool and refreshing to see.
You're more optimistic than I am. I have zero confidence in this company, but it's fun to be here. Last thing before we dip off, one thing I did forget, we had a tag team break up last night on Raw. Rhea Ripley and Nikki, almost a superhero, A.S.H. Again, if I can go back to my WWE dropped ball list, top of that list is also Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley looks like a star. She looks badass. She can go. She has a great gimmick. She has a great look. She has a great entrance. And they paired her with this dweeb in a Party City costume. And that's no disrespect to Nikki A.S.H. I like Nikki A.S.H. as a wrestler, but I don't like the gimmick of the superhero. I think it looks stupid. And Rhea Ripley should really be a person that is going for the Raw Women's title, in my humble opinion. But yeah, they had Nikki A.S.H. turn heel on Rhea Ripley. So I guess Rhea Ripley has to overcome this 4'0" girl in a Halloween mask in her next feud. Is that what we're going with?
Poor Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
What the hell? Just what the hell are they doing to her? She should have been in that match to determine if she was going to be fighting for the championship at the Royal Rumble.
You compare her with Bianca Belair. You compare her with Dewdrop. You compare her with Becky Lynch. You compare her with many other people, and it makes more sense.
She's such a badass and can be a badass.
Yeah.
But no, WWE again had to take something perfect, and modify it to their own.
A Triple H creation from NXT, mind you. You're welcome, Vince.
Exactly. I'm surprised Rhea Ripley's not gone.
Yeah. Well,
she's a triple hood guy.
Yeah, that would because AEW would. If AEW got a Rhea Ripley, are you kidding me? Like Rhea Ripley is someone that can credibly take the title from Britt Baker. I think she's that type of talent.
Yeah,
exactly. Which AEW does not have right now.
No, the only thing that could really help the women's division in WWE is getting like the Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah. Because this is a Raw show, but if we could speak about AEW for a second. AEW has no credible woman on their roster that could beat. Maybe Thunder Rosa, but no one credible that could beat a Britt Baker right now. There's no one hotter than Britt Baker in AEW.
No one's over enough. They've tried everybody.
Yeah.
Britt's obviously still champion for a good reason.
For great reason. Keep it on her until you can get Charlotte or you can get Bailey, whoever the hell is going to be available next year or so.
But if they mess around Rhea Ripley, like WWE messes her around and messes her around and messes her around, there's a good opportunity that when her contract does come up, she might not want to stick around. And she might want to go take the leap of faith and jump to the other side of the fence and, potentially join up with AEW instead, sticking around in a place that's just going to keep on burying her. Because that's what they've done since they basically called her up, is had her at this mid-level teaming with Nikki Ash. We hope we all remember
for titles that don't even matter to anything. Like, were the titles even on Raw last night? The titles aren't even on there, bro. Like, these titles don't matter. The women's tag team titles, they're luggage.
It's just a joke.
Yeah. They're luggage.
Exactly. Luggage. Something extra carried around from airport to airport or fucking show to show.
Yeah.
It's like
and then Rhea lost it.
Exactly like luggage.
It's so crappy that she lost it by accident.
That's how important that title is.
Yeah.
But Rhea Ripley, I'd like to see get catapulted back into her rightful spot as a main event spot. They have a lot of potential there with Ripley, Bianca, Lynch still in the picture as champion. So many routes they could have gone, but what they did do was it's refreshing because, again, Doudrop, Bebop, whatever her name is, is challenging for the title of the Rumble, but you have such other more talent that's already, not got really their fair turn.
Yeah.
And Rhea Ripley's at the top of the list.
Doudrop. I don't mind having a title match. Yeah, a title match because it is refreshing. It is something different. It is something new, and she could work. I just like I like when it's like not projected who's gonna win. Like for example, okay, not to talk about AEW too much. All right, the Danielson versus Hangman feud, right? So Hangman really just got the title, but we're all really just sitting there thinking like, but could Bryan Danielson beat Hangman for the title? Like, we really didn't know. It's not like everyone was like, oh no, Danielson's gonna win, So I think you should have feuds like that where we know Becky Lynch is not gonna lose to Doudrop. Like, we know that already. And we knew Becky Lynch is not gonna lose to Liv Morgan. We just knew these things. So I just wish it wasn't as projected. I wish it was kind of like a little doubt in the audience's mind of what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and that falls on the storytelling, that falls on the booking, that falls on the people behind the scenes. Like, Liv Morgan never really got a fair chance either. That match was not the best on the card. There was the mishap at the end where, Lynch didn't really solidify the cheater's win by putting her foot on the actual rope. She just beat Liv clean.
Yeah.
And that, to me, weakens Liv's credibility. Any momentum that she had is now gone, and she's got to restart to rebuild. But she's got a lot of potential. Like you said, the improvement is phenomenal with her. And she's got the look. She's good looking. She can wrestle now.
Yeah.
I made the reference earlier. She's the new old Alexa Bliss. She basically took that role.
Yeah.
If she ever turned heel, she would be the biggest, baddest bitch.
Yeah.
On the show verbally. So that would be really entertaining, but they never really even give her proper chance either because the miscue in the match. She just has nowhere to really go now after dropping this triple threat. It's just a chaotic mess.
Yeah,
not just in the women's division, but just overall.
The whole thing. WWE, I mean, and it's like, and they have so much talent. The talent that people can work, people can talk, people can, people have good looks, and they just don't seem to put it together in a story that makes sense. And that's what's frustrating about watching the show every week. That it just never makes any sense. It's never like, oh, this is so good.
I had to wipe the blood from my eyes after watching the 3-hour program for about at least another 3 hours.
Yeah, right. And we got to do it again.
My eyes were crying, bleeding. My ears were hating myself because I had to listen to this. The commentating's not even that great anymore. Like, remember good old JR and Jerry Lawler? That was commentating.
Yeah, I don't even know the new guy's name. I have no idea what this guy's name is. Like, I know it's it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters. None of this stuff matters.
Nothing. It's just a fictional show now. It's their flagship show that just doesn't mean anything anymore. SmackDown on Fox is much more entertaining, yet it still has a long way to go because really there's only like 2 aspects of that whole show that I'm actually interested in. NXT is rebranding, redeveloping, going through a massive changeover or transitional period right now from what we used to see in the new generation era where, guys like Brett Michaels, Razor Ramon, 123 Kid, Diesel, and all that were taking over the old spots of Hogan, Warrior, and that whole group. But this is the biggest we've seen yet with NXT. So, with Raw's side, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night more than I was looking forward to Raw.
Yeah.
Because at least I think NXT has a lot of potential where Raw, we just know is just written in stone. And, it's hit a dead wall for the last, 5 years. So it's something to wait and see what happens with the main shows because I'm really interested in the NXT show because, again, like I said, the potential there to redo this, restart it, make something right where Raw is, set in its ways with its writers until something drastic happens with talent change.
You have more confidence in me because NXT, it's run by the same exact people. So speaking of NXT, you'll be back tomorrow for the NXT review with Travis and Tyrell. We're going to have new shows all
my boy.
We're doing Monday Raw, Tuesdays NXT, Wednesdays Dynamite, where I'll be back. Then we have SmackDown and Rampage on Fridays, and the Royal Rumble's in 3 weeks. So we're all going to have a nice little conversation.
Yes, sir.
But
lots of conversation, lots of hot topics, a lot of cold topics too. Don't get me wrong, but there's still a lot of excitement in the air within the world of professional wrestling, and I'm glad we're a part of it. Wrestling Never Sleeps Network is the biggest, baddest, network coming to fruition. And, Jared, it's great to be back with you, man. That's definitely 100% sure.
Where the big boys play, brother. But let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this episode up. Thanks for watching, folks. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so we can let you know when we're dropping new videos, which is going to be each and every single day with all the new wrestling news, reviews, topics, and the like. For my very, very, very handsome co-host, Adam Anthony James Martin, the straight suit in the suit. I'm your boy, Jared Never Sleeps. Thanks for watching, and it's still real to me, damn it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.